Hello lovely people, I'm back. It's Nicola in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room again. And I wasn't going to do any vlogging today, but I felt the need to chat. And I was thinking of doing another sewing tutorial later. So I'm kind of procrastinating about that right now because I'm talking to you instead of sewing. Oh well. Right now I'm on a bit of a kick of project bags for knitters and crocheters. Last time I showed you a bunch of ones that I had made that were drawstring bags. I did a tutorial for that last week. So what I'm working on now is a zipper bag with the same proportions, small, medium and large, as the drawstring bags, just with a zipper and a built-in sort of handle strap thing on the side, but exactly the same measurements. So I made myself a large one. I got a little bee in my bonnet about wanting to make a bag that was plaid and denim. You know, I thought it would just be the perfect pairing, right? Plaid and denim. So I pulled out a little bit of plaid stash and I made a plaid and denim zipper bag. This is the large size, 11 inches, I think, wide. Yep, 11 inches wide. And of course, upcycled jeans again on the bottom, plaid on the top, some cotton batting on the inside, and the same plaid on the inside, and a slip pocket and a handle. I have to say that using plaid is a pain in the you-know-what, because you have to try and get the lines vertical and horizontal and not wonky. And when you're cutting it out, it's not straight. This is a woven in plaid. It's not printed on, it's woven in. And it warps so badly. It was a bit irritating. But I think I managed to do it to an acceptable level. And I think I finally settled on a way of doing my zipper tabs that I'm happy with. Christine of Christine's Home Affairs does hers like this. And they are sewn in to the seams, but because the zipper bulk ends and then you've got the tab, and the tab goes into the seam, it's not too bad. I know there's a few far neater ways of doing the zipper that end short of the side seam, but this one seems to work for me, and I think I'll stick with it, at least for now. The top stitching was really bulky. I had to put my walking foot back on to top stitch this, because when I tried on with the zipper foot, it sort of fell off the edge of the fabric because it was kind of thick. So I was happy with that one. So right now I have in progress one that I'm using red and black buffalo plaid, because who doesn't love red and black buffalo plaid? This one isn't finished yet. I took a break from this yesterday because Mr. Stitches said he wanted to go out for a walk, and I said I would go out with him because I hadn't yet been out for any exercise yesterday. So this one, I still haven't closed the gap in the lining, and I'm thinking of just putting a line of stitching down the middle of the pocket. For the large bag, it seems to work fine with a single pocket, but with this one, when it's inside the bag and you put your hand in, the pocket kind of gets in the way. It's just too sticky outy. Totally a word. 2 words. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to figure out whether I can somehow get a line of stitching down the middle of the pocket to divide it into 2 without having to do too much unpicking. And then I'll be happier with it. For the drawstring bags, all the sizes, I just divided the pocket into 2 sections. And I think it's tidier that way. And normally you're just putting like small stuff in. When you've got a knitting or crochet project, the pocket is just for the little bits and pieces that you don't want falling right to the bottom of the bag, I think so anyway. So once I figured that out and finished that bag, I'm going to start on a third one in the small size, and I will film that so it can be another tutorial. I will do that hopefully today, unless I distract myself with other things. Another little weird sort of tangent I went off on this week was a teepee bag. Now this is a tutorial I saw on the Crafts Channel many moons ago, and I thought it was really cute, and she suggested you use it as a thing to put your clothespins in, or your pegs if you're in Britain. Hang it on the washing line maybe, or if you put the hole a little lower down, you could use it as a small pet bed. She had another tie coming out of the back seam there. Now I'm sure when she was showing them in the video that hers were far taller than this. It feels like to me this came out far too small. It's only about 8 inches tall, and I don't really feel it'd be much use for much at all. You may have other ideas, but I don't think I'm going to be making any more of these. And of course, sewing a circle in the base, as you know if you've been around for any length of time on this channel, sewing circles into cylinders is one of my least favourite things to do in the whole wide world. And I did get a little bit of puckering there. I can see I did. So I don't think these are worth the faff, to be honest. It took me a long time to figure out how to get the PDF for it as well, for the template. It was free. And I tried signing in a number of times, tried 2 different email addresses. Neither of them worked in the end. I had a friend help me out by getting it herself, and then she sent it to me because for some reason I couldn't get it. I'd noticed that the Crafts Channel hasn't updated with any new videos in probably 6 months now, so I don't know what's going on there. And their website is, shall we say, inadequate. They don't have a thing where when you're trying to sign in, you can say you forgot your password. And yeah, it doesn't seem to work how it's supposed to work, shall we say. So yeah, I think that was definitely a one-off. You won't be seeing me make any more of those. Not that impressed. Last time we spoke, I was showing you that I had started a crocheted beanie. It's called the Fly Away Beanie. I can't, for this minute, remember the designer's name. Maybe Heather Anderson. It'll be underneath in the description. And I think her blog is The Unraveled Mitten. And it's a really fun and easy pattern. Okay, I admit I didn't used to think that doing single crochet in the back loop was fun, but it does seem to go pretty quickly. The grey one is now finished. And so you start by doing this brim. I followed the pattern by doing the 70 rows of the brim, and then I did the prescribed 15 rows for the body. Yep. And it was really easy and quick. Started one day, finished the next. And I'd say the trickiest part of this, although it's not that tricky, is working into all the row ends on the way around so that you can start working up. When you're working into row ends, sometimes it's hard to figure out where to put your hook. But you just got to remember that you got to put your hook in between the ribs for one row end, and then into a rib, a sort of a raised rib for the next one. And really with crochet, you can fudge it. Crochet's great for fudging. This puff stitch detail, super simple. So your row end is here, you're doing your chain 3 in a regular double crochet, and then you do a couple of puff stitches with a couple of chains in between, double crochet in the back loop around, and then you finish every row with the puff stitch, 2-chain puff stitch. Again, there's no crown shaping. Like if you don't want to bother with the creases, there aren't any. You just gather up all the stitches. And I have to say, I was worried a little bit about how that was going to be. And I thought there'd better not be a hole in the top of the hat when I try and cinch up my stitches, but there isn't. This would work well with a pom-pom, but I am not going to add a pom-pom. That would require me to either buy one or make one, and that isn't going to happen. So as soon as I finished that one, I started another one. I came down and I grabbed another ball of acrylic from the stash. This is the one I haven't started yet. So this is Cygnet Chunky. And it's the color Blackberry, 779 Blackberry. It says it's chunky. I wouldn't call it chunky. Whew, the fibers are making me sneeze again. This is a UK brand. I bought it from Wool Warehouse. I got, I think, probably like 8 to 10 balls of it because I made a sweater with it. I made an entire sweater with it, and then I frogged the whole thing because it didn't work out how I wanted it to work out. And then I crocheted, oh, what was it called? I can't remember, but it was a bat wing design by Dora Does. Can't remember the name of it. But I made it with this and a whole bunch of colors. So I had some of this left over, and I thought this would make another perfect beanie. And I used a slightly larger hook, because even though it's not really chunky, I thought I'll use a 5.5mm hook this time rather than a 5, and maybe do a fewer rows on the brim. The beauty of this pattern is you can customize it as much as you like, because when you're single crocheting in the back loop to make this sort of ribbed brim, you can make it as short or long as you like. You just got to try it on, kind of stretch it around your head and think, that'll do. So if you know 70 is going to be far too big for you, you can stop at 60 or 64. I would recommend an even number probably, but and then also for the height of the hat, you just do more or fewer rows. You can make it slouchier, you can make it shorter. And if you accidentally skip a stitch or add a stitch, it doesn't matter because the stitch count really isn't crucial. As long as you get your puff stitches lined up, that's all that matters, and that's really easy. So, all this chat. This is how far I am with the Cygnet one. And I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've done 7 of the double crochet rows. So I've just got another 8 to go, and then I'm done. So halfway there. This is a great one to be portable for when you want to go out and meet friends for tea and not have to focus too much on your crochet, which is exactly what I did yesterday morning. I took it out with me to the coffee shop, met a friend, and I was able to crochet while chatting and drinking my tea. So it's ideal. So I completely forgot. I was just going to mention the top I'm wearing, just in case anyone's interested. Love this tie-dye fabric. What's not to love about tie-dye fabric? The pattern I use, I'm going to take it out of the bag because it's in a Ziploc bag, because that saves me trying to stuff all the paper pattern pieces back in the envelope. So, you know, I just gave into that. So this is the pattern I used for this. McCall's 7061, and it has the shorter top, the longer top, slippers, pants, shorts, hood or cowl neck, and I think I've made just about every version that's in here at different times. And it's so much fun, and it's really comfy. And the pants, the one thing, I'm pretty sure my red pajama pants are made from this pattern. There's one complaint I do have about those. They're a little short in the leg, but also they're a little low in the waist. So there's enough room in the butt and everything, but when I sit down, I can feel it pull down at the back, and it just feels like the waist should be higher. It also doesn't incorporate any elastic in the waist. It obviously just expects the stretchy fabric to hold it up. Well, there's no way that's going to happen, because I found that waist, even though I am not exactly slim, the waist was still too big and needed elastic. So I did enjoy making this, though. What I probably wouldn't do again, actually I know I wouldn't do it again, is there's a little sort of buttonhole here so that you can put a cord through the cowl neck and cinch it up. I wouldn't bother with that. Definitely wouldn't do that again. But yes, I've made the slippers and the longer dress kind of length one, and it's also made in fleece because it's so toasty. I've had a bit of a frustrating couple of days actually with my sewing, because I wanted to try out a couple of things, and sometimes they don't work out, or you just think you kind of wasted your time. Like that little teepee bag, I felt like I just wasted my time with that. I had a little play with the idea for a cup cozy, so I got my reusable second cup, ceramic cup. Second cup doesn't exist around here anymore. It's a shame, because it was nice that it was sort of a smaller company than, you know, the big ones that shall not be mentioned. I don't go to chain coffee shops as a rule. I prefer to patronize small local businesses when it comes to tea and coffee, and usually the tea and coffee taste better as well. Second Cup was a nice small business, relatively speaking. So I tried out a coffee cozy made of denim. I stuck a tab on the side and a key ring just because, but this was so easy to make. I cut the bottom of a jeans leg. It was a little wide, so I still had to trim some off and re-seam it and box the bottom. But I added in some batting and a lining, so it's sort of insulating. And I really like it, but I'm just not sure if it would sell at the market. Coffee cup cozies are so popular now in the knitting and crochet world, but I just don't know if people really use them, or if it's something that they buy and never use, or if they gift and the person they give it to never uses it. So what I could do maybe is make something that could either be a coffee cup cozy, but could also have other uses, so that I can say, well, let's see, these are like 10 uses you could use this for, right? And that way, if someone's not going to put their coffee cup in it, they could put something else in it, like crochet hooks or pencils or a vase or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Tell me what you think of this. I'm open to honest opinions. Thanks to my lack of trust of my microphone, I caught fairly quickly the fact that that one had died. So I've put the other one on now, but I have a feeling they both need charging. So I'm going to hope it doesn't run out. I'm going to keep checking it again. One of the experiments that I started probably a week ago, maybe longer, was a little bag that I wanted to be a sort of a backpack style. And so I made this denim bag, and I put these tabs on the bottom as I was boxing the corners. I thought that was pretty inspired. And so that meant that when the cord went through the grommets, it could come out the back, get tied onto the little rectangle rings, and be worn as a backpack. Which is great, but I only did 6 grommets, and I knew that you needed an even number of grommets for it to work, but 8 would have worked better, because then there would have been a piece of drawstring like right across the front here, and it would look better. It's just such a small bag that I thought, if I have 8, you know, it might be a little bit crowded. But I was having interesting times with the grommets. The grommets I'm using were from a set I bought from Amazon. And sadly, the thing that you hammer to cut the ring into the fabric didn't really cut the fabric. Not impressed. So what I did was I sort of hammered it, and where it had made an indentation, I was cutting. And that's the whole point of me getting that set, was that I did not have to use any scissors, that it would just cut a lovely ring in the fabric. I could put the grommet in there and whack it, and it would be in. Another thing I did was whack it too hard when I put it in. And so the metal was splitting on the back. And of course, it's scratchy when it splits. I did try some nail polish, and I also tried some glue. And I don't think either is really doing what I want it to do. So I'm not sure what's going to happen about this bag right now. I finished it, but I'm not totally happy with it. The first 3 grommets that I hammered in split, and then I thought, okay, what are you not learning here, Nicola? And then I realized that if I was a little lighter on the hammering, that it would work perfectly. So now I know what to do for next time. But unfortunately, for now, this one is one of those things that I've made that I can't really put it into my market pile the way it is right now. So it's like it's a reject at the moment, unless I can come up with something else. Unfortunately, once grommets are hammered in, they're kind of there for life, aren't they? Unless you do something drastic and risk ripping your fabric or something. And we'll see. If anyone's got any neat tricks for removing grommets, let me know. Okay, I'm going to try not to be quite so yucky in this next bit, because I don't want my microphone battery to run out. I had a very successful trip to the dollar store this morning. Quite a fun haul. I had a list, and I mostly stuck to it. And I found most of what I was after. You may have seen the big fabric flash stash I did not long ago, where I pulled out all of my chenilles and fleece remnants, and the fibers were flying. Wow, that was a sneezy sort of evening. And it was good, actually, because I pulled out some large pieces of fabric that day that I've decided to use for an event coming up later this year, where we've got baskets and we've got pretty cloth or scarves or something to go in the baskets before we put the product in. And I thought, fine, I'm going to get this out of the stash. I don't have a serger, but I've asked my friend if she'll cut and serge some pieces so that they can just be like a, I don't know, 36-inch square, and each one can go in a basket. I'm not sure how many pieces she'll get out of what I've given or what I'm going to give her, but can always supplement with thrift store scarves or something. But one of the things I wanted to do was get storage boxes. So I bought 6 storage boxes that are 20 litres with lids, because I'm pretty sure I'll fit 2 across and 3 up on this, in this closet area, and they will stack nicely because they have lids. The other things I'm kind of excited about, I have this vision for my stand at the Farmers and Crafters Market in the summer. I wanted to maybe prettify it up with fabric flowers and flower pots and sort of shelves where they're resting on flower pots, so that you've got some vertical display. I want a mannequin so that you can sort of sling bags on it and that sort of thing. And I want it to be pleasing to the eye, shall we say, something to sort of attract people so that they'll want to come and look at what I'm selling. And I found these. They're sort of metal pots with jute handles in a lighter pink and a light green and a darker pink. And I decided that seeing as there were 3 colours, I would just get 3 of each. So I bought 9 of those. Super cheap. But I can either use them for resting shelves on top, maybe just pieces of wood, or I could put product inside them. And I think that will be really pretty. I'm hoping so anyway. I haven't done a market in 10 years, and so I consider myself a bit of a noob when it comes to all of this. Another thing I bought was dog poop bags. In case you're wondering why I'm buying dog poop bags when I don't have a dog, a little while back I made these. They were from a pattern, no, not a pattern, a YouTube tutorial by Lorrie Nunemaker, and I made a vinyl one just to play around with it, and I made 8 of the fabric ones. And so I needed to buy some dog waste bags because I want my little pouches to have a roll of bags in, because that way people will know what they're for and they're instantly usable. And they were $1.75 for 5. So obviously I can maybe add a little bit to that when I price up my little bags. I have no idea if this is the sort of thing that will sell, but I'm ready for that. Another thing I probably should look at is for my pen pouches, I should probably get some notebooks and pens, because I feel like it will display them better and it will add value, and I can just add a little bit of profit onto the notebooks and pens that I buy from the dollar store. Not much. I don't want to price myself out of the market or anything, but I think it would look prettier that way. I found some price stickers. I know I had some when I did that big clear out the other day. I found some price stickers I had in my drawer, and they had probably been in there for 10 years, and there's probably a very good chance they've lost some of their stick. So I have more stickers pricing my product. Another thing that was on my list of something to get were these craft mats. Now, I'm not sure exactly what they intend you to use these craft mats for. Just says craft mat. Maybe it's just to protect your worktop while you're doing fun crafty stuff. They'd probably be good for putting on your table to keep them clean while people are eating, especially if they're children. But my friend got some the other day, and she says she used them for templates. And I thought, okay, if I was going to be making a lot of one thing that maybe wasn't just a rectangle or a square, these templates would come in really useful. These mats, rather, from which I would cut templates, could become very useful. So I got a couple. They're $2.50 each. I'll use them for something. Something that wasn't on the list but was, oh, shiny and squirrel, were these things here. There's 2 packs here of parachute cord, but of course you can see why these ones caught my eye. This one is completely bright and neon, and this one is sort of a slightly more toned down rainbowy one, and you get 5.5 meters for $1.25. And I thought, I can use those. They could be drawstrings or something. So I just had to get those when I saw them. And then I found a couple of packs of something else right next to them. It's more parachute cord, but it has clips in here as well. I guess they're bracelet sets, right? You've probably seen these before, where people make bracelets out of parachute cord. And this one has lime pink, orange and yellow in it. And this one has pink, blue, black and purple. And then it comes with the little clips. I might as well open this because we're not going back to the shop. I will have cut the crackling packaging part out for your benefit. So it comes with these. So each package comes with 4 colours of paracord and 4 little clips, which are kind of cute. So I know I can use those. So that was a successful shopping trip. And now what I really should do is get on with sewing that buffalo plaid bag, get it finished, and move on to the next one. And then I can set my tripod up to film it so that I can put it out as a tutorial. First, I'm going to have to clean up my floor because I just threw everything on the floor. Look at the amazing little gadget that my son 3D printed for me yesterday. It's a zipper jig. And I'll see if I can set up the camera in a way that it actually shows you how it works. It clamps to the table. This is where you put your zipper pull and holds the zipper pull while you put your continuous zipper tape onto the zipper pull. It's amazing. These things are at least $20 to buy online, and I showed them to him and he found a file that someone had already uploaded. So I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to have to show you from behind because this thing is clamped to my table and I don't have a doohickey for wearing a camera. So you've got your zipper pull. This is a number 5 zipper pull. You have the wider side up and the flat side facing you. It took me a while to figure that out last night when I was testing it out. At first I thought he got it wrong. I was putting it on like this, but you actually put it on like this. So it's just holding the top bump, and this part is facing you with the wide parts facing up. Then you just take your continuous zipper tape, you turn it away from you so you're looking at the back. I hope you can see this. And then you're just threading the 2 sides into the zipper parts. And this, of course, is where it should work. Here we go. Oh, it worked on one side. Hold on. Trying this again. Okay, I've got both ends in about the same amount, and then I pull down. And then I can take it off here, and it's threaded the zipper onto the tape with a lot less fiddling than if I was to do it without. Isn't that amazing? I love it. Of course, I had to choose the rainbow zipper tape. I have a feeling we're going to have to bust out the batiks to use with the zipper tape and make some really, really fancy stuff. So isn't that fun? I'm so impressed. I think he had to do it a few times to get it to work right, and apparently there's a lot of material in here which you have to cut out, obviously. So it takes a little bit of work, but the little clamp screw works perfectly. It even has a little non-slip texturing on there. And I'm just tickled pink with that. I didn't think I needed one, but I think I'm going to use that all the time now. I should probably test it on a 3mm zipper as well. I'm talking to you, but I really should be vacuuming. I said, okay, I'm going to do the housework now. And I went and grabbed the vacuum cleaner and I did the utility room. I did the little hall floor outside my sewing room door. And then I had to deal with a ton of garbage in here and take that outside. And then I got sidetracked. So the floor is still a disaster, but I'll do that in a minute, promise. I had a productive day on the channel yesterday after I had shown you this bag and this partially completed bag. I went ahead and finished this one. I did end up having to pick out a whole side, bottom, and just around the corner of the lining to manage to do that vertical seam on the inside pocket, but I'm glad I did. And then I made a tutorial while making this little bag. This is the smallest version. And what do you know? I forgot to put the pocket dividing seam in on this one too. But I did not go back and fix that because it's just too much hassle. So I didn't bother. Yeah, I thought plaid would be fun. Plaid is not fun. It doesn't want to line up very well. My top stitching on that side isn't very good either. It's sort of closer to the denim here and further away over there. At least it's in black thread, which isn't too noticeable. So that was done. And now I'm going to get on with my housework. Today's blast from the past shawl is the Me Shawl by Crochet with Claire. She used to be known as Bob Wilson 123, but she updated that a few years ago. She used to be very prolific. She had or has a lot of older tutorials on her channel, and then she kind of dropped off the face of the earth for a while. But I used to love subscribing to her because she was always making something fun. This uses a Lion Brand mandala in the color Troll. And thanks to my Ravelry project page, I can tell you it used one cake of Lion Brand mandala, although I did kind of cheat in that I took out the green from the one cake and I used the turquoise from a second cake to do the pom-poms. And I'm really glad at pom-pom edging. It's like my favorite part of it. Well, in addition to the fact that the colors are just awesome, of course. I'll just take it off and put my microphone on the t-shirt. Oops. So you can see it better. So here you go. It's worked top down. It's a really simple pattern. Just some simple increases. It's a nice curve at the bottom rather than a triangle. Quite long and not too deep. You can adapt that as much as you like, really, because you can do as many rows as you want. You can just keep going and make it way bigger than this, but I like this size because it just wraps around my neck nicely, goes well under a coat in the winter. And yeah, pom-pom edging is just awesome. I did make a second Me Shawl and I used Karen X or Cross Pantone Bamboo. I'll link to my Ravelry project pages for both of them. Didn't like it as much. Not sure what happened to that one. Probably gave it away. So this was made in 2019 and the second one I made in 2020, and I would definitely consider making more of these because they're quick and fun, and when you make it in pretty coloured yarn, they look awesome. The second one, I didn't do the pom-pom edging. I just realised I'm talking to you with my retainers in. I went to bed really late last night and it was 11:30 before I put my retainers in, and I'm supposed to have them on in for 12 hours. And so I woke up really early this morning. I couldn't go back to sleep. So I ended up getting up at 5:30 and I sat messing about on my phone for a couple of hours. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to take the retainers out, have a cup of tea and some breakfast, and then put them back in after cleaning my teeth, of course. So that's what I did. So I'm doing the housework with my retainers in this morning and I'm filming, completely forgetting they're on, but you can't really see them, can you? They're clear. So back to the vacuuming. Back to the vacuuming, Nicola. Stop procrastinating. have my mic with me, and it's pretty windy, but hopefully you can hear me. We've had a really good walk out in the woods, lots of steps up and down, burning legs, a little bit muddy because I did fall over once, and a little bit sweaty, but it got the heart pumping and the cheeks a little flushed, and it feels good. So I'll sign off here for this vlog. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.